everyone, this is Sid here and welcome back to another video. Today I'm actually going to be talking about something different than what I usually do. I'm going to be talking about the fantasy world for my story. So, if that sounds interesting to you, basically just like some world building stuff and more lore and info, then please stay tuned and stick around. And without further ado, let's get started, shall we? So just to be clear, this is the first world that my characters visit. Basically, my story is kind of like Weircats in the fact that like they live one place and then that place gets like kind of destroyed. So then they have to go on a journey and like migrate to another place. Also sort of like Wings of Fire, you know, like how some of the tribes in Wings of Fire left the first continent, Pyria, and went to the second continent, Pantala, all of that great stuff. So this is actually the first continent. So the books that I'm writing right now, they're actually on a different continent, but the first books are on this continent. But yeah, basically I drew a map a while back and I did not like it very much because I just thought it looked super duper cringe being like so cartoony and all of that as like a literal map, you know, because maps are supposed to be like a little bit more realistic, you know what I mean? So I was like, hey, why don't I just redraw the map? It took me like forever to actually get around to do this. Like, usually I'll just like force myself to draw something, but I like was not feeling the map. But eventually I was just like, hey, you need to redraw this map. It's like more than a year old. You need to just like do it. So yeah, I basically just made myself sit down and redraw the map. But I'm glad that I did because the map looks a lot better now than it did previously. I feel like my art style has really improved, and I also just made some like changes regarding the map. So I'll just be talking about those right now. Basically, you'll see here, it's based off of a yin-yang, so one half of the continent is the same exact like shape and size as the other half, and they're just sort of like inverted like a mirror image. So one half is the quote-unquote light half, and the other half is the quote-unquote dark half. And it's kind of funny because the darker colors are actually on the light half of the map and the lighter colors are on the dark half of the map. But basically, we have our people living here. We have the Lightlanders and the Darklanders. So the Lightlanders live in the Lightlands, which is on the right side, and the Darklanders live on the left side of the map in the Darklands. But essentially the lore for that is that, of course, the right side is towards the east and the sun rises in the east, so the Lightlanders would be on the eastern side, and then the sun sets in the west on the left, so the Darklanders would be on the left side. So yeah, and essentially these places don't really have seasons. Basically, the Lightlands is like a perpetual summer, and the Darklands is like an eternal winter. Sort of like Narnia. I took like a lot of inspiration from the Chronicles of Narnia when redesigning my continent, because honestly, the Lightlands remained the same, but I changed the Darklands a lot to be more of like a winter wonderland type place. But yeah, before then it was just like this like dark, gray, gloomy, depressing area, and I was like, this isn't really fun. Like, I need to have a fun thing that they can do while they're over there. So then I was like, hey, it'd be really fun if I just made it into like a winter wonderland, you know? And I'm glad I decided to do that because I feel like it's a lot more interesting now. Earlier it was just like super duper like dark and gray and gloomy and depressing, and I was like not having it. So I'm glad that I redesigned it just for the sake of all that. That's the lore of that stuff. And I know it's kind of cringe how like the Darklands is more like southern based and then the Lightlands is more like northern based, when usually the north is the cold area and then the south is like the warm area. I know it's sort of like opposite in that regard, but I didn't know if I would be able to make a yin-yang be like the opposite direction, you know? I'm not exactly sure. I don't know which like direction it's supposed to like go in, but all the ones that I've seen have gone in like this direction. But correct me if I'm wrong and I can just like change it, and yeah, that'd be pretty good. But basically, the Lightlands are more of the stuff like the meadows, the plains, prairies, pastures, fields, gardens, grasslands, all of that great stuff, as well as like some of the hills and mountains and stuff. They have really good like beaches and all these little islands over here, all of that great stuff. And then the Darklands, they have like the cliffs. They have nice like in Ireland, you know, they're just like sheer drop-offs, really cool, all of that great stuff. They have like the fjord, the frozen fields, and the frozen forests, sort of like the snowfields and stuff. They have some like pine tree forest. The Lightlands have more of like the normal trees that you see just like every day, and then the Darklands have more like the evergreen trees, you know, like the pine trees, spruce trees, cypress trees, all that great stuff. They have some like cold Arctic mountains, also about like the wildlife and stuff. Basically, for the Lightlands, it has all the stuff that you would expect from the place. It has like the deer and like rabbits and like all of that great stuff. All of those more like normal and like natural animals. And then like in the Darklands, it has all these like cool snowy animals. So it has both penguins and polar bears. The penguins live more in like the southern half, and then the polar bears live more in like the northern half. It has stuff like Arctic hares, Arctic foxes, Arctic wolves even. Wolves are really like important character in my story because some characters can transform into wolves, and some characters can like sort of transform into wolves, like a half wolf, like a werewolf, you know? So yeah, wolves are really important. They also have like reindeer and stuff over there. They just have like all those really cool like cold Arctic animals, you know? And all of that great stuff. There's not very many like important things about like the land in terms of like the storyline, you know? Because I mean, I always feel like it's really good to have a cool place that your characters live in your story, you know? That always just like adds more special and unique effects to it. But I feel like the most important thing about your story is obviously the characters, and then after that is the plot, you know? So I feel like the world isn't really like that important, but I feel like it's always really cool, especially if you have like a fantasy setting, to make a really cool world, you know? Just to add some more like you to the story and make it just like special and unique, you know? But basically the important things about my world are like the ocean, probably because they have to cross over the ocean, but there is like an ocean map. I haven't drawn that yet. I haven't drawn the maps for any of the places except for this place. There's two other places. There's the Isle of the Sun and Moon, and there's Alamenta. So I need to draw both of those soon. But I'm gonna have to force myself to do that too, because the map just took like so long. The map took like, let me see here.
1 minute later.
It took literally like 7 hours to make this map. I was like absolutely dying. But yeah, I drew this nice little compass over here in the corner because I feel like that just looks really cool. And yeah, basically I have all the castles right here. Ash lives in a castle, and then Destiny lives in the other castle, sort of like the castle ruins, you know, because that castle was destroyed in the ancient times. Ash lives of course in the Darklands, and Destiny lives in the Lightlands. But yeah, I drew some other elements, like I drew the bare tree right here. That's the tree that has no leaves, sort of like a symbol of death in the cold area, a symbol of the winter being harsh and unforgiving and merciless, you know? And I drew like the waterfalls coming down. They come down from like the mountains, you know, because water typically travels from north to south, except for the Nile River, which travels from south to north, which is kind of interesting. That's just because of the flow of the river. But yeah, I drew this cool little cave over here that has a little spark of light coming out of it. I thought that was pretty interesting. I drew over here the lighthouse. I have a little lighthouse and then like a little rocky bay inlet type thing. This is where like the pirates live, in that little port town on the beach. I drew all of my other little towns and villages, the little hamlets. They're really cute and adorable. I love all of those. I drew like a little stronghold right here with a little tower in the middle of it, so like a little military base or something like that, a little military encampment. And I drew my little fortress up here, which is the prison. Don't ask me why, I just like randomly decided to have like this whole entire prison arc. I love prison vibes, even though like it's so boring, you know, thinking about prisons, like there's nothing to do. But that's gonna be like my whole entire Christmas story. If you've seen my post, I'm gonna make a Christmas story, but it's gonna be like about these kids going to prison instead of like actual Christmas. So yeah, I'm gonna have a lot of fun writing that. And the sea is just like dark and cold. So yeah, all of the water in the Darklands will like instantly freeze you if you jump into it. You're gonna get like instant hypothermia. So yeah, you should probably stay out of that water. But yeah, I have some cool map elements that I made. Like I made little mountains and stuff and like trees, and I thought that was really cool. I might be able to like, I don't know if you're able to like make bases for like things like that. I'm gonna try and see, because like I have all my little map elements right here to see if people can like use them to make their own maps and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. Basically, that's pretty much it for like the map and stuff. It's not really that important. I just thought it was really, really cool. And I especially loved getting to see like all of my improvement, because I feel like the main improvement for me was like adding the textures and stuff and making it look like it was actually like really like alive, you know, and like coming out of the page. Of course, it's not as realistic as like some people can do, and it's not that great, but I liked adding all the little like details and stuff and making it look truly like real life, you know. And I tried my best to make it look really good. I made all those little trees look really like fluffy, like they were actually made of leaves and stuff and had all that like foliage on them. I tried to make my mountains and stuff look all like rocky, and I tried to make like the ice in the Darklands look like icy, and like made the grass look grassy. I liked how I did the beaches and stuff, how I made it like blend in with the green. I liked all the colors, because my other one had like bright neon colors, and it was like low-key honestly just like blinding me, so I could like barely even stand to like look at it. The contrast on the other one was also really good, because this one like blended in together too much, and I also just made the other one like stand out more, all that great stuff. And yeah, I also just fixed the water, because it looked like either a piece of poo in the water or just like a water made out of chocolate. So I was not really having that. It was supposed to be like, what I was trying to go for was like a muddy or like dirty look, like they had like dirty water, you know, because like I guess their water just wasn't as like clean or pure as the water in the Lightlands. But I was like, no, I have to get rid of this like instantly. So I just decided to make all the water blue on the other one, which I think was a pretty good move. And it's more of like a natural color blue as opposed to like the bright blue on my other one. The bright blue would be good for like the Bahamas or something, but that's not really what I was going for. So yeah, I like how the colors all look just like so much more natural and go together so much better. But yeah, I thought that was pretty good, and I just enjoy like all the vibes and the aesthetic that it brings. I feel like it has a pretty cool aesthetic. So yeah, basically that's pretty much it for the fantasy map. But if you enjoyed watching this video, then please make sure to like and subscribe for more, because I post lots of cool content. Unlike most other YouTubers, I post multiple long forms every single week, and I post a short form video every single day. So no matter what, I can almost guarantee that you will always have something fun and interesting to watch, and you will never be bored. And it's good for you, because it'll help you to stay tuned and get notified every single time that I post a new video. And it also helps me a lot, because it helps to boost my YouTube channel into the algorithm, which is always such an amazing thing, because I always love it when other people in the artist community get to see my artwork. So yeah, stay tuned for more info and lore on my original stories and my OCs. And yeah, do you think that this map is better? Do you think that it's worse? Do you think I have improved over the course of the year? If so, please let me know in the comments down below, and I would love to hear what you have to say. And yeah, basically that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you all guys all have an amazing rest of your day and a great holiday season. Happy snowy winter and Merry Christmas and a great new year. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Always remember that I love you, and goodbye. Eat more waffles.